we're going to get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is David Johnson, and I have the honor and pleasure of serving as the president of Merritt College. Yeah. Okay, my Merritt folks and some non-Merritt folks, I appreciate that. Want to welcome you back to Merritt College. This is the second time that we've done this. So we always feel very honored to have you, but always enjoy the energy and enthusiasm and positivity that attends your attendance. So we count it as a privilege and honor to have you here. I want to do a couple of things as we get started this morning. First and foremost, I would be remiss, and I'm going to bring them up a little later on, but I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the heavy lift, the Herculean efforts of our two fearless leaders for Flex Day. That would be Miss Marla and Miss Chelsea. Yeah. As they can attest, that this is no easy undertaking. But with them as well, I need to acknowledge the IT folks, the Mark Johnson IT, District Media, the custodial staff, our classified professional staff who are holding it down while we're doing this, right? So if you look at your schedules, your agendas, a little bit of a shift this morning. So hopefully you will be flexible as we pivot and move forward. So something's come up, so the Chancellor won't be joining us this morning, but we will continue to push through the agenda just with a couple of logistical changes. So I just wanted to note that. But we still have an amazing agenda, amazing speakers, breakouts in the afternoon, so this thing keeps moving. I'm going to take a bit of personal privilege to shameless plug. I would like to see all of you and your students, if you can make it, on February 4th and February 5th in this room. We are going to be hosting an amazing conference. It's the Black Male Brain Health Conference. Yeah. So just really quickly about that. It's been over the past several years, whenever there's been there's been a Super Bowl every year, but whenever they have a Super Bowl, this conference follows the Super Bowl, or the location of the Super Bowl, the geographical region of the Super Bowl, primarily to address the CTE issue, so it makes sense between former players and some of the things that they struggle through, but also just mental health, community mental health in general. So it's free to attend. I'll be sending out another message concerning that with an agenda, so you can see what panels you want to attend. But it's going to be great. We expect the Honorable Barbara Lee is going to be speaking. Kevin Jenkins, our councilperson who represents this district, is going to be speaking. There'll be Congresswoman Latifah Simon was supposed to come, but she has work to do in Washington. I won't even get into that. I'll leave that to Jeff Sanceri to talk about the current state of affairs in this country. And there'll be some NFL players, and it's going to be a really positive event. Secondly, I would be, if I could take the opportunity because of where we're standing, this year, 2026, and I saw somebody with a jacket, with a Black Panther jacket. Who had that on a little earlier? In the back. Okay, 1966. So this is going to be the 60th anniversary of the founding of the Black Panther Party. So we're planning a lot of activities. Yeah, please, yeah. So we're going to be planning a lot of activities around that. You were in the Huey P. Newton Bobby Seale Student Lounge for a reason. Finally, if I could have, and I'm not killing time, I genuinely feel this way, if I could have all of the new employees stand up. I see people point at other people. Stand up. There you go. All right. There you go, my man. So I'm not gonna, we're not gonna do an altar call to make you come up here and say who you are. But make sure the folks who stood up, make sure that we saw them. Make sure you greet them, welcome them to Peralta, and make sure that they feel affirmed and supported. Finally, I am going to pass the baton to Miss Marla and Miss Chelsea so they can begin the rest of our program. Welcome to Merritt.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Flex Day Spring 2026. I'm Chelsea Cohen.
And I'm Marla Leech.
Many of you know us already. We're happy to be here again. And last semester was a tough one. So we intentionally designed this day to be a little more spacious, with different opportunities for us to come together and slow down. Marla, would you like to give us a little overview of the day?
Sure, and I'm looking around and seeing there's a lot of really cool blazers in this room. I'm like, man, I need to get me a cool blazer. Anyway, there's some real nice coats. So good morning, and we have a few adjustments for the morning, but we're gonna start our keynote 10 minutes early. So instead of at 10, our keynote will start at 9:50. In between, we're gonna have other people who are gonna, of course, present, and we'll have like maybe a 5-10 minute stretch break, chat with your colleagues moment. It's gonna be a little bit more relaxed. So we hope you really get the time. I would just encourage you also to not only talk to the people you already know. Talk to people you don't know. Talk to people you've never met before when you're standing in line, when you're hanging out. Go introduce yourself to someone that you don't know yet. Because we are a whole Peralta. We're not we are for individual colleges, but the truth of it is we're one Peralta, as Tamil would say. And we need to really, let's get to know each other instead of, I'm gonna go talk to that person who I just haven't seen for 2 weeks. Go talk to somebody you don't even know at all, you know? So anyway, I welcome you and encourage you to do that. We have a bunch of great stuff for today. We have a wonderful keynote, which is actually these wonderful gals. Can you stand up and wave? They're presenting on anchoring community during times of loss, uncertainty, and change. So that should be a very powerful morning keynote. So I really encourage you and hope you all are planning to stay for all of that. We have a lunch and chair massages out in this time it's down in the cafeteria area, okay? And we also have a tour of Merritt Bioscience Labs by Giselle Giorgi. We'll be meeting for that out front of the R building, so right out front, probably where you walked in. We'll be meeting there at 12:30, and we do a quick walk down and get a quick tour, okay? It's gonna be awesome. And we also have online, we have Irina who's going to be doing some singing. So for those of you who are online, or if you wanna go online or just relax and hear singing, she's gonna be doing some singing from 12:30 to 1. We have a lot of stuff. Massages will also be down by the cafeteria, sort of right by the drinks, kind of around the corner. We'll show people, and it's a first come, first serve, 5 to 7 minute massages. Most of you got one already before, so, but yeah, that's first come, first serve. After that, we also have film screening, but from many requests, we are bringing the Last Class film to our Flex Day, which, where's Inger? Inger really pushed on this one, I'll tell you, but I was like, okay. So we actually got a license for all 4 colleges. So as an instructor, we'll have to figure out where it's gonna land, the actual license that you can show it to your class. But I highly encourage you to come back it's gonna start at 12:45. It'll be in here, and you can finish your lunch in here, that's fine. But we're gonna be showing that movie in here, and then we'll do just a little Q&A at the end. It says that I'm presenting it, I'm not really presenting it, I'm just sort of hosting it. But it's supposed to be incredibly powerful. We literally just got the license, so I haven't even seen it. But it's supposed to be incredibly powerful. Of course, we have all sorts of sessions in the afternoon. You can go through the list. We have a couple of printed copies in the back, which you can take a picture of. There are only a few of them are printed. But we've got minimum quals, faculty service, Canvas, We're gonna have some movement at 3 o'clock and a coffee and tea break, little mingle thing at 3 o'clock. PFT, of course, at 3:30, dual enrollment. We've got a bunch of different things. So I hope you enjoy the day. And we're now gonna go back to Chelsea. We have a lot of thank yous. So thank you, first of all, and foremost, for being here.
President Johnson already acknowledged the village it takes to put this day together. We also want to do that too. So thank you so much to Peralta TV. Thank you, Angel Hunter, Ceci Vasquez, Dale Navetta, especially thank you guys. We could not do this without you. Thank you to Tara Marrero, who does the facilities. She has been amazing and supportive, and her whole crew as well. Thank you to Vice Chancellor Vasconcellos for your support, and to Sean Dixon with the scheduling. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the volunteers at the Francis Moy who did the flowers for us today. And Sabrina at the table, Teresa, thank you so much for your help. And all the presenters, we had many come through for us at the last minute this time. So thank you, we appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our wonderful PFT president, Jeff Sanceri. Come on up, Jeff.
Come on out, Mr. Jeff.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, and this is what we do, right? We say good morning, you guys do that, and I say, no, good morning, everyone. You say, good morning. I'm so glad we got that over with. All right. You know what? I'm happy to be here. It's Flex Day. We're all here together. And I see nothing but intelligent and good-looking people out here today. And of course, David Johnson. He's joining us. That's good. Right, you know, I mean, there's too many things out there about me. I'm gonna stay in my lane and not call out too many people. I'll call out myself instead and say, I've been on edge. Y'all been on edge? Yeah. And I'll say, don't do it. Ha! Thank you. You know, I think I wouldn't be true to my own values. I'm feeling the tension like everybody else is. I want to be true to like my own values and a lot of yours. If I didn't say what I suspect a lot of you have been thinking or have said at some point over the past 3, 4 weeks, maybe months. ICE. Okay. Yeah. You know, I would want to start a chant, but I don't want to get like, I'm already getting death stares from some of the people that, you know, it don't matter. Look, I mean, but like, look, I'll talk about like, you know, PFT real quick for you and just say like for years PFT has worked very hard, you know, to support one another and fight together for better wages, better working conditions, you know, and more often than we should, we've fought to save the district from itself. But we've arrived at a tentative agreement and with the district, and it'll give us vastly improved working conditions, which is good. You know what? A little bit of money in our pockets, and that's real good. I said a little bit of money, and people aren't. A little bit of money in our pockets, is that good? I mean, all right, sorry. So gratuitous, I am scandalous. Nonetheless, and our executive council voted in an emergency meeting yesterday to endorse the ratification vote, which is happening right now outside there. Don't rush. Pay attention to me for now. I need it. I haven't taught for a while. But yeah, we'll be doing that all day. So if you're a faculty member, if you're a member, vote. And if you're not a member, become one quickly. Stop by there when we're done here. Now, I'll say real quick, ratification of this tentative agreement is going to enable us to focus our energy on the changes that are going to be happening in the district and ensuring that those changes don't accidentally or for expediency's sake, you know, leave out faculty and our students. I do want to be fair in saying that we were invited to be involved. We're all invited to be involved, and I want to urge everybody, especially our members, to attend these meetings as they're happening. This is where we get to make these changes. There's no real blueprint for the stuff. There's no real blueprint for the stuff that's happening. So we get to define how this moves forward. And if we have power in that room, if we have space in that room, we can dictate that. We can steer it. We can make real good change here. Thank you. Sorry. We got to take advantage of that opportunity. But as I alluded to earlier, our challenges aren't just internal. It's not just limited to Peralta. We have our community to think about. That's why I urge all of our union members, heck, everybody. If you aren't a member, we can sign you up, of course. I want you to attend our general membership meeting today at 3:30. But in addition to talking about the contract, we're going to be discussing our partnership. PFT is in a partnership with Bay Resistance to, thank you, to protect our community and protect against the state-sanctioned violence that's happening in our communities. We'll also be talking about politics in 2026. There's board races. Oh, hey, Trustee Quinlan, how you doing? All right. Board races, a gubernatorial race, state congressional races. These are ways that we want to get involved. We're getting the contract done. We have the contract done. Now we want to see what we can do as faculty in our community and help each other here. So let's see. Last thing, I will say in closing, having dropped the obligatory F-bomb in front of the entirety of Peralta, and I imagine on tape, I want to introduce the much more measured, but no less exasperated, President of the District Academic Senate, that's Leslie Blackie.
There we go. Thank you. Let's see if this works. Yay. All right. So, yes, that is me standing at the gate in front of Rivendell, just so you know. So welcome back. I first want to start out by, again, thanking our SDOs at our district for not only planning the District Flex Day, but also the wonderful speaker series that they've put a lot of time and effort to in the semester, and I hope you have been able to enjoy those. And I also want to thank our professional development committees at the colleges for their local Flex Day work. And I hope you will be attending those tomorrow, and also thank all the presenters who have stepped up over these next 2 days. So I first wanted to start with this quote from Maya Angelou from her poem, Still I Rise. This is the first stanza. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. And I thought of this as I began to prep for Flex Days and joined with the other faculty in preparing our syllabi, lab orders, Canvas shells, and welcome messages to be sent to the students. I want to express how much courage it takes to be in academia these days. As I told the Board of Trustees on Tuesday in my report, this environment feels so very anti-intellectual, with educators often reviled for brainwashing students into specific political beliefs. And this, of course, is not impacting just faculty, but our students as they try and enroll into classes, our classified professionals who work so hard on our campuses and interact with students and prep the campuses, and our administrators who get to manage all the complaints and a lot of other things. So I just really think we need to acknowledge that even though we're being told to deny the evidence of our eyes and ears, we are still dedicated to teaching critical thinking skills, and it's desperately needed and important. Colleagues at Peralta and elsewhere around the state and the country have stated how hard last semester felt, not just the usual challenges one meets during a semester of educating, supporting, and working with students in all of the complexities of their lives, but also the minefields of leading discussions, presenting material in fraught times, and the crazy state of the world. Another thought I had was that as we get ready for the semester, I wish I had a shirt with a slogan, so maybe this will go along with Marla's new blazer. I wanted the slogan, "Teachers are people too," on it. We often hear from students about teachers need to understand the complexities of our lives, but we don't hear the acknowledgement of the faculty that also have complex lives with many competing issues for our time: prepping classes, teaching, grading, answering emails, working in shared governance, as well as our own personal lives of child or parent care, pesky needed house or car repair, medical updates, or just managing to get to the dentist to get one's teeth cleaned. All right, next slide. So last fall, I wanted to review a little bit of our fall semester. So as we talked in the fall, the senates are guided by 10+1 principles, and the plenary is the overall state conference of all the local senates of the colleges. And so we are guided by 10+1 principles, and it's pretty fun that Peralta then actually sent 10+1 people. We had 10 from the colleges and 1 from the district. Another way to think of this is we have 10+1. We have 10 people pictured who went to the conference and 1 not pictured. So anyway, I just thought that was fun. And we had a lot of discussions at that conference about the challenges that are happening at our colleges, things we want to see changed, and then a lot of discussion and debate about resolutions. I'm sure your local senates have talked about those results. Next slide. At the Fall Flex Day, the Chancellor gave us all a challenge, that of transforming Peralta in many ways. There's a lot of information on this slide. I don't expect you to read it all, but this slide highlights the 6 areas she suggested we focus on in our transforming of Peralta. Of course, everybody just heard unification of 4 colleges to 3, still having 4 campuses, but 3 colleges. But she really started talking about and addressed the ideas that had bubbled up from our shared governance new format that we have used for over a year now, and spent a lot of time last spring in developing inquiry questions to come up with 6 ways to transform the district. Next slide. So there's a lot of names on this as well. What this slide is showing you is that over the fall, we started building the communication, the process, and the task forces, and they started meeting. So we have 3 task forces and 1 district level committee that were challenged to work on this transformation process. And when you look at this, you can see that there are representatives from every college and students, classified faculty, and administrators on each task force and committee. Next slide. So where can we find out what is being discussed? There are lots and lots of places that you can find information. I want to highlight the transformation webpage. It's a lot of information there. I also want to encourage people to talk with their representatives on the task forces. Again, we put those names out. They're up on the webpage. Your local senates also have this information so that you can then talk with your representatives and express your concerns. You can talk at your local senates as well about your concerns. And you can, of course, attend the meetings. They're open meetings. They're public meetings. There's always space for public comment, as well as just observing. At 2 p.m. today, later today, College of Alameda Senate President Jen Fowler and myself are going to be facilitating a presentation in S449, I have to check the room number there, at 2 p.m., 2:10, I think, to really show the information of what has happened so far. As I said, those task forces, the Chancellor challenged us in August. In September, we started working on setting up those task forces. In October, those task forces started meeting. And then at the December PBC, which is Participatory Budget Council, for folks who aren't aware of those things, what? Oh, planning budget, what is something? I call it participatory. All right, planning. but it was on December 19th, which is after a lot of people were gone or finishing up their grading things. There were report outs from every single committee. So we will have summaries of those report outs and discussions and a time to gather questions at that session. So I do encourage people to come. We will have a Zoom link as well, just to make sure if there are people aren't able to be here. But I see lots of people in this room right now, so I'm really hoping I'll see lots of people at that session. And those, yes, we'll see the recommendations from those 6 areas. And I put on this slide, again, that you could see where those, where the task forces are reporting out and which recommendations are going. Next slide. Okay, so the transformation process is just that. It is a process, and we are building these processes and inviting feedback and surveys, questions to hear, developing rubrics, analyzing lots of data to help us. I want to acknowledge the IR team, the institutional research team, that has been generating huge amounts of presentations to help us understand the data coming through. As we have more questions, they go back and refine the data, and it's really, really helpful in this process. So I think it's really important to acknowledge that. So my challenge as your district Senate president to the faculty is this, that we remember our academic training. When we were pursuing our master's degrees or doctorate, we had to do independent projects when we developed a question or a hypothesis, and then developed that process or learned techniques to generate the data, survey literature to analyze and to come to our conclusions. We need to flex our academic muscles again and remember our training and work together to forge this path, this transformation of Peralta. So my wish for the semester is that we all practice listening with grace and empathy, working together with kindness. Firmness is not being mean, stating different opinions is not being argumentative, but exploring options, and an overall recognition that we all want Peralta District to continue to be successful in its mission of education. So I'm going to quote from my favorite book, Lord of the Rings. And the one there says, "Not all who wander are lost." As we are wandering to develop the process for the transformation of Peralta, while we continue the good work of educating our students and working with our colleagues. And on Tuesday, I also included this quote from J.R.R. Tolkien as well, and I was encouraged to include it again, so I'm going to. Because again, this talks about that idea of journey and hope, and that is, the world is indeed full of peril, and in it there are many dark places, but still there is much that is fair, and though in all lands is now mingled with grief, it grows perhaps the greater. So let's think about those as we move into spring 2026. Thank you. And now I'm going to introduce the district classified Senate President, Tachetta Henry.
Well, Jeff already gave y'all the good morning, so I'm going to do it in my southern voice. Hey, y'all! Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. And before I begin this welcome, I just want to take a moment to again acknowledge a true powerhouse, even though he's gone, but he's still with us in spirit. So we're going to kick this off. 2 claps. Ready, ready. I hope you guys are ready for the semester, because we got a lot of work to do and a lot of progression and students that are eager to complete. So to kick this off, good morning, Peralta family. On the behalf of the Peralta Classified Senate and classified professionals, it is truly an honor to stand before a community as resilient, dedicated, and passionate as this one. Today we gather not just to begin a new semester, but to reaffirm who we are, why we are here, and the collective impact we make every single day. Flex Day gives us something incredibly meaningful, a moment to come together as one community, to reconnect, to breathe. I'm gonna say that again, to breathe. And to begin another journey together through anticipation, optimism, and hope. It is a moment of pause and purpose, and a moment to reflect on how far we have come even in the midst of adversity. It is a chance to reset, reflect, and realign with our shared mission of serving students and transforming lives. And no matter our title or role, whether it's classified professionals, faculty, and administrators, we are united by one powerful truth. Peralta works because we, as a collective, work together. To our classified professionals, from me to you, you are the heartbeat of our institutions. You are often the first smile, the steady support, the problem solvers, the quiet leaders, and the consistent presence that keeps our colleges moving forward. You are often the first voice students hear, and a steady presence they rely on. And I stand here as that example. When I came here in 2013 to Merritt College, I was one of those students in the community that was going through a lot. I am a domestic violence survivor, but during that time, I was going through domestic violence, and no one knew those things about me. But because I came on this campus, it was a classified professional that embraced me and helped to guide and navigate me through the process of admissions and records and financial aid and obtaining the resources that I needed in order to get through my educational journey. Your work may be behind the scenes, but its impact is felt everywhere. Your flexibility, care, and commitment keep our campuses moving forward, especially during times of change. Thank you for your countless ways you show up for students, for colleagues, and for Peralta. Now to our faculty. Yes, I'm sure you guys are so proud of me because I actually came prepared. That's learning from writing so many essays in your classrooms that was either 500 words or less or 300 words or less that I had to compress in a 24-hour period. So thank you for teaching me that. To our faculty, you open doors to possibility every day, such as you have for me. Through your teaching, mentorship, and dedication, you help students discover their potential and their purpose. And I am an example of what you have poured into me during my educational journey. Though I was a student at Merritt College and graduated from here, I am what I call a Neapolitan ice cream swirl student. I took classes everywhere at Berkeley City College, Laney, and College of Alameda. So it is through the collective of all 4 colleges that I was able to obtain and achieve and accomplish and complete my educational journey here at Merritt College. And so I want to take the time to acknowledge all of the campuses for your undying and unwavering support of me and the students that you serve. You are the guides and the innovators that inspire curiosity, confidence, courage, and possibility in our students. Your commitment to learning and equity shapes futures, and your influence reaches far beyond the classroom. Your influence reaches far beyond the classroom. I'm gonna say that again. so it can resonate in your minds. Your influence reaches far beyond the classroom. When we leave these classrooms, and I'm talking now when I was a student, when I left your classrooms, I learned so many things that I didn't know before. And through that learning experience, I was able to take that knowledge and apply it to my everyday journey and my everyday life experiences outside of the classroom. In my personal life, in my discussions with other people, through connections that I made along the way, whether it was within the campus or outside of the community. So your influence is very impactful. And to our administrators and leaders, thank you for your stewardship, vision, and willingness to navigate complexity with care, courage, and collaboration. I know it takes a lot to be in your position and to be able to lead in your position, but I want to acknowledge you and what you do, because it was through you guys too, and I'm gonna shout them out. Denise Richardson and David Johnson were implemental mentors to me as a classified professional. And there were many times that I talked with them and they helped to mentor me, and I asked questions and they would answer those questions. So I want to thank you. I want to give you a quick shout out because I wouldn't be standing in a position that I am today as Peralta Classified Senate President if they did not pour into me and encourage me that I had leadership skills that I didn't even think that I had. They would push me in ways and stretch me in ways that I started to see my own true self. So I want to thank you for that. Your leadership helps shape a vision that keeps students at the center while supporting the people who serve them. The past few years and even the present moment have brought uncertainty, change, and challenge. But if Peralta has shown us anything, it is this: we are not defined by the challenges we face, but by how we rise together. We are a community that adapts, supports, and continues to show up for students with heart and purpose that is grounded in compassion, collaboration, and hope. Even in moments of transition, we continue to move forward with resilience and care for one another. As we begin this semester, let us lean into a shared vision, one where collaboration is strengthened, voices are valued, and growth is encouraged at every level. Let us continue building a culture where professional development, leadership, and opportunity are not limited by title, but inspired by passion, purpose, and possibilities. Let this semester be one where we don't just do our jobs, but we grow in them. Where we don't just meet expectations, but exceed them together. Where we don't just exist within Peralta, but evolve, innovate, and thrive as a unified community. Thank you for your dedication, commitment, and belief in our students and each other, as well as our communities and overall Peralta. Welcome to Flex Day and to the semester that is filled with many possibilities.
Tachetta, that was so inspiring. As always, you are amazing. Real quickly, classified, will you stand up in the room? I'm going to give you a hand. We want to acknowledge your amazing support for everyone. Faculty, will you stand up in the room? Faculty. our fellow colleagues. Thank you so much. And admin, stand up in the room. Give you a shout out. It takes a team. It takes all of us to make all of this happen and be the beautiful place Peralta can and will be and is right now. So thank you so much. We want to invite people in the back who are standing. We have a lot of chairs in the front. There's a whole row here with nobody sitting, so please come on up and grab a seat. The first 3 rows have a lot of space, so come on up.
Okay, and so for those of you who might have just come in or are on Zoom expecting our Chancellor, she's not able to make it today, unfortunately. So we have Deputy Chancellor Greg Nelson, who will come up to speak briefly. Thank you.
Good morning. As you can tell, you might have to your frame out on your camera. I'm a tad larger than the Chancellor. So good morning. I was always taught not to, where's my communications people? Don't hide behind the podium. And I was always too large to stand behind the podium anyway. So good morning. Welcome to the new year. It's really happy to see everybody here. We can do like we did during COVID. We do cardboard cutouts for all those in the back. If you want to come up here and sit in the front, it look like it's full. So one of the things I was reflecting on Tachetta's speech, and I always feel like I'm a Baptist, Pentecostal, Catholic all at one time. I just want to give an amen. A shout out to Tachetta and all her inspiring words. And so really appreciate the enthusiasm. And how many of you actually have a core memory of an instructor or a classified staff member when you first started college or first got into higher education? How many of you have a core memory? Yeah, so a core memory, like a memory. And so one of the things I remembered as I was hearing people talk is one of my first classes, that's back when you registered by phone, you do a computer number, this class is full. And then you go to the next one, this class is full. And then you wind up taking a 6:30 a.m. poli-sci class that you definitely didn't want to have. And so my first professor, he was trying to get everybody to be awake, right? So he'd always do these little jigs and dances and stuff in the morning. But one thing he said one time, he said, does anybody know I'll give you an A in the class if you know what the definition of politics are. I was like, well, wow, that's interesting. I've never thought about it. I'm 18 years old, and I'm like, okay, what's the definition of politics? Nobody can figure it out. But there are lots of definitions. But he said it's easy. Poly, meaning, and ticks are flesh-eating creatures. And he said, so just remember that as you go through life. And that was my core memory of my class of my freshman year. And I have never forgotten that professor. He's now the Chancellor of the Regent system in the state of Georgia. But it's very interesting what you remember from different instructors along the way. Of course, all the important stuff, too, that comes along with that. But you do have core memories, so I really appreciate that. I want to just give a quick shout-out to Trustee Quinlan, our chair of our Board of Trustees. Thank you for being here. The always stalwart goes to lots of different things. I really appreciate him being here. And it's good to see everybody. And if you haven't met you, I do have the pleasure of serving as your Deputy Chancellor for the district. It's my joy. I've been here about 18 months now. And so hopefully you've seen a lot of things we're doing. One of the nice, exciting things we're doing this year, it actually starts on Tuesday, is the new transportation program for our students. So if you don't know about the transportation program, we'll be running shuttle buses. The drivers, are any of the drivers here? Stand up if you're one of our drivers. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. There you go. So if you don't know a lot about the program, this program will be starting on Tuesday morning. We are a little short-staffed, so we're going to do 4 10-hour days to run 7:30 to 5:30 initially, and then we will be going to 7 to 7 here shortly. But we will be, Laney College will be our hub. So Laney College will serve as a hub. So all buses start and stop at Laney College. They'll go from Laney College to each college and back. So you can transition through Laney and back to your respective campus. We run every 30 minutes. So on the half hour, they'll run every 30 minutes on the half hour. All the buses have been looked through. The drivers have done a good job. They're all DOT, CDLs qualified. And we've also done a lot of trips for already, so We've already taken a trip to LA to do the UC tour, et cetera. So if you have, we are going to be working on a process for that. But right now our focus is students, the swirl, and we want to make sure students can get to the respective campuses they need so we can try to eliminate that barrier of transportation to the colleges they need to get the classes they need. So really a year in the making. It's a great program, so please spread the word. It's going to be a great program for our students. And unfortunately, unless you're taking a class, staff are not allowed on the bus. So make sure you take a class. We're always willing to have you in a class, so take a class, get your permit, and go from there. All right, so a lot of exciting things happening this semester. As you know, I'm one of the tri-chairs of PBC, so a lot of things are going to be happening this semester. So I really encourage you, whether you're sitting on a transformation plan task force, you're sitting in governance, et cetera. If you're part of governance, raise your hand. And I know folks online too, but all right, great. I highly encourage you to reach out to your leadership to become involved. A lot of interesting information is shared there. It's also a chance to have your voice heard, or you can come to public comment meetings as well. And so I wanted we just finished our new shared governance manual, and I think it's important for us to celebrate that because that was a really important process. We approved it in the fall of '24. We just concluded the last fall semester. That was 1 full year at our new governance process. So I really appreciate the Chancellor and the leadership who had that vision to put that forward. So as we go through the year, just remember that. The tenets of the shared governance manual, to make sure we're cordial, we law input, and I think that goes a long way toward making sure we have our voices heard, make sure we have forethought about what the impact is to students, not what the impact is to ourselves, and also to how it can benefit the district long term. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu. Have a wonderful spring semester.
Okay, everybody, so we're going to take, in just a minute, we're going to take a 10-minute break.